Hello and welcome. And it's kick off with you again. It's doing football analysis just the way you like it. And I'm joined by plethora of football analysts and football fans generally. With me as always is Mohammed, and we also have a new special guest on our show right there. And it's all about Afcon. It's a good day to talk about football again, and evening to talk about Nigeria in a whole, and about what we hope for tomorrow, right there when they face Ivory Coast. But before we get into the take of the action, let me quickly bring Mohammed up to speed. Welcome, Mohammed, to the show as always. And how has it been? Checking the games over again and looking at how Afcon has panned out. Hmm, no team hungry for anybody this in this
Yeah, yeah,
competition.
yeah. The last few 3, 4 days has been full of surprises. We have seen Ghana, we've seen Egypt, we've seen the big nations. They have not come to the party yet, and I think this is what we want to see from African football. Let the so-called smaller nations turn up, and if you are not at your best, you'll be kicked out by the group stage.
Yes, yes. Offsets even makes the game even more exciting and makes the competition much more captivating. And when we're talking about offset, we've seen the big teams in Africa slip up right there on their first week, and we are hoping, or in their first game, and we are hoping that in their second game they're able to pick up the points and look to qualify. And talking about a big team that slipped up right there, Nigeria. Against one of the easiest team to play in the group, dropped 2 points right there. I would say they dropped 2 points to me. And what do you think about that one, Mohammed, ahead of this game against Ivory Coast?
Um, Nigeria, a very big nation, and maybe it's unfair to call Nigeria the underdogs, but I think going into this game, Nigeria are the underdogs against Ivory Coast. Everything is against them. The injury is against them. The fans is against them. It's an away game, don't forget. And their form is also against them. So I think Nigeria are going as the underdogs against an Ivorian team that won their first game 2 goals to nothing. So I think Nigeria would have a lot of work cut out if they want to progress to the next stage of the African Cup of Nations.
Yes, yes, they will have to work their socks out. And Abdullah, are you there with me? Welcome to the show too. And I think this is the first time Abdullah is making his debut. Abdullah is making his debut right there on our preview show. And welcome as always, Abdullah, if you can hear me.
He has always been a back end developer. Anytime we take
Backend developer, backend supporter, and also backend fan right there. I don't think you can get me for now. And Mohammed, you were mentioning something about Ivory Coast, the fact that it is an away game. It is an away game, especially when you're playing the host team. The fans are going to come at you and everything. Looking at even how they got their result against, they got a convincing win against Guinea-Bissau right there in the opening game of the African Cup of Nations. This team, they are high in confidence, they are at home, they have their fans behind them, and this is the worst, if not the worst time for Nigeria to need a result against this kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I was actually looking and saying, if Nigeria lose the game against Ivory Coast, I don't think anybody is expecting Nigeria to beat Ivory Coast at home. To be honest, when you look at how these sides have fared, and one thing for me is the midfield of Nigeria. We didn't see enough creativity from the midfield against the Equatorial Guinea side, but this time around they're coming up against a very very strong midfield. Ivory Coast have, if not one of the best midfield. They've got Sangare, they've got Frankesi, and they've got Seko Fofana. That is a top midfield. A great blend of physicality and technicality. So much experience in that midfield. How will Nigeria cope with that midfield? And Alassane Youssef is going to miss the game against Ivory Coast tomorrow. So I have a whole lot of question marks. How are they going to cope against? Because if they are not up to it on a physical level, they're going to get overrun by that midfield. That midfield is too powerful. The physique is so much, and they have technical quality. So I don't know how Percy wants to do it. Maybe he makes changes are, no doubt Nigeria are going to miss out on Wilfred Ndidi, but it's so sad that Nigeria are going to this game at the worst possible time.
Yes, worst possible time. And how do you think the likes of Victor Osimhen, Iwobi, and William Troost Ekong, with the wealth of experience they've had, I think they've played in an Afcon competition before. With the wealth of experience they have, do you think their leadership will be very, very pivotal if we are going to ever get a result against Ivory Coast? And how do you see this game panning out? You just mentioned the midfield. That is the worry generally for Nigeria. I even emphasized on the fact that they look disjointed against a Guinea side in which I don't think it should have been a problem for us, or against Equatorial Guinea. I don't think it should have been a problem for us in the first game. Um, and I think we've created a huge mountain for us to climb. And how do you think the likes of Victor Osimhen, Iwobi, and William Troost-Ekong will be in this game to for us to even consider us getting a result?
Yeah, I saw a video in training. I think before the training started, the players spent 20 minutes. The players know the expectation of Nigeria, even if Nigeria have not been, where we want to be. But they know the expectations. They had a meeting, 20 minutes. They know what to do. But we need the wealth and quality, the experience from these players. And one thing striking for me is Ivory Coast have a very, very good center back partnership. Usman Diomande from Sporting and Niakate in Nottingham Forest. So that's really, really going to be interesting. And I know it's really going to be, it's what I want to watch out for. The battles, the physical battles between they and Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen is definitely going to have a very, very difficult time because these center halves are very physical and they've got legs to cover space too as well. So I think this is a big call for Pesero. He has to get it right from the whoever he decides to pick. And we have experienced players, like you said. They need to step up. They need to step up, and hopefully Nigeria will get a result.
Hopefully, Nigeria will get a result. And what lineup are you expecting against Ivory Coast?
Okay. I've made three changes to the lineup. I think I'll stick with Stanley Wabali in goal. He didn't get tested enough, but I think he showed few glimpses that it could be positive. Zaidu Sanusi from left back. I think the centre backs didn't have much problem against Equatorial Guinea. For me, I have problem with Ola Aina because I think he was very, very conservative with the ball. He didn't show more support. So I think I'm going to start with Bright Osai Samuel. I think he's a very, very good right fullback. In the midfield, Onyeka and I think there's a missing slot there as well. There's another
Yes.
player who's going to replace because I feel in this game against Ivory Coast, you don't expect to see Aribo and Alex Iwobi in the midfield because if we see that kind of midfield, I think Nigeria are going to get beat. This is African football. First thing first is the physicality. You have to be physically up there. I like to see Kelechi Iheanacho start on the right wing ahead of Moses Simon. I think he's a natural left footer and it makes him closer to goal. Lukman and
I
Victor up front.
Lookman and Victor Osimhen up front. Wow, wow, that's nice. And I think Iheanacho just has to come in, experience one, and second, he has a good eye for goal.
And
Somebody
chances
that can just
creation, he can drop those passes together with Victor Osimhen. And but I think Nigerians were disappointed with the performance of Alex Iwobi in the first, and it looks like he's the main player Nigeria have to rely on for creativity too as well. In as much as we have praised this Ivorian team, this Nigerian team has a whole lot of wealth of experience in that team. Onyeka plays for Brentford. That's a big club in the Premier League. Alex Iwobi has played for Arsenal, Fulham, and Everton. That is a top CV for a footballer. Ademola Lookman plays for Atalanta. That's top. Victor Osimhen plays for Napoli. Kelechi Iheanacho, William Troost Ekong has experience in the English Premier League. Olaino, like we even said, plays in the Premier League for Nottingham Forest. So I think we have those experienced players, but they have to prove it. Everything is against Nigeria tomorrow. Everything, the wind, the weather, the referee. When you go away from home, it's always difficult.
It's always difficult, but yet they still have to do it. And how will you assess a draw in this game if we get a draw in this game? How will it be a disaster for Nigeria if we get a draw? I know at least we need a win to solidify our position, but hope a draw won't do anything bad.
I think a draw will be like a win for Nigeria. If we are to tamper down our expectations, because like I said earlier, people don't watch this Nigerian team. People just believe it's the Nigeria of old that has the Okocha, the Nwankwo Kanu. But if we are being realistic, if you watch these Super Eagles of Nigeria, they are far from it. They are far from it. And this is this, I checked Nigeria's recent games. Nigeria have not won a game in their last 4 or 5 games. And that is not what you
Yes.
need going into a big tournament like the African Cup of Nations. So I think a draw will be a good result for Nigeria. Um, but it puts a whole lot of pressure on the last game where you have to go and win. But one thing Nigeria needs to do is to avoid a defeat against Ivory Coast tomorrow.
Okay, to avoid the defeat and the final thoughts before um we we round up generally.
Well, I just want to see good football, and I hope you won't be missing that match, even if
I
you are
won't, I
coming
won't.
from. Okay, so it's I just want to see good football from Nigeria. It's really going to be interesting. And also another thing, I expect us to be on the back foot for a period of time in the game. But we have an outlet in Victor Osimhen. He's a player you can play those long balls to. He makes those runs into the channel, which will always be a problem for defenders. I just want to see Nigeria show a fight. I think in the last game, I can only point out one or two, three players that showed that fight. So I think all we want to see is the fight, the effort, and the commitment that they want to win this game.
Yes, hopefully we'll be watching out for that one, and we'll also come back here to do a review of the game. Once after it unfolds. So thank you very much, Mohammed, for joining again. It's always exciting to talk about football with you, and especially when it comes to our own country. And we hope the Super Eagles can do it right now. It's been long we've seen them win a game, and it's a win against Ivory Coast to be almost a statement win in this competition, given where we are
Yes.
coming from and given the number of um, winless run we've been um, right there. But we'll be looking out for that one, the lineup, and
And
also
I won't be surprised if the manager goes for a three at the back formation too as well. Because one thing I've seen from Pesero is quite flexible in his tactics and formations as well. So I think a three at the back is another thing he might be looking to implement.
okay, nice one. I'll be watching out for that one as it unfolds, as I said. And thank you very much for joining. And please do like and subscribe. The video is very much important for the growth of the channel. And we'll be back here unfailingly to talk about the game after full time. And thank you very much, Mohammed. And catch you after the game. Bye.
Goodbye.